6:30 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting of the Milliken Town Board to order. If you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could we have a roll call?
Yes, ma'am. Trustee Kidd?
Here.
Trustee Burek?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Meisner?
Here.
Trustee Leron Ehrlich?
Here.
Trustee Austin?
Here.
Mayor Woodcock and Trustee Nick Ehrlich are not present at the moment.
Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Commentary on the information portion of the agenda by the police department.
Next portion of the agenda is the citizen comments. That's to allow members of the audience to provide comments to the town board on items that are not being currently considered on the current agenda. If your comments or concerns require an action, the item must be placed on a later agenda. Please limit the time of your comments to 3 minutes. The town board may make no decisions nor take any action. Is there anybody who has any comments? Seeing as none, we'll move on to the minutes of the previous meeting for February 22nd.
Motion to approve is printed.
Second. Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes as printed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Consent agenda. There are no items on the consent agenda, so we'll move directly into the action agenda. First item is consideration and approval of a contract extension with Waste Management.
Keep wondering whether I should be up there or not.
Sorry.
Mayor Pro Tem and members of the board. This is a request to extend the current contract with Waste Management. And we had a contract that had 5 additional one-year terms. This is the last year of the contract, and that's what's proposed to you tonight. We take it 1 year at a time. So it would end in 2018. Stand for questions.
Same rates as last year?
According to the agreement, there is a rate adjustment of 2.75%, and that's what the request has been from Waste Management. They have followed through each and every year with the rate adjustment that's allowed within the contract.
Do we know how our rates compare with Johnstown's rates for trash collection by any chance?
We are a bit more than Johnstown right now, but they just had an adjustment. So I don't have those figures in front of me.
And they also use Waste Management?
Yes. There's also other neighboring towns that use Waste Management, and they'll have a different figure for each town.
So they've raised it 2.75% each and every year of the contract.
Correct, sir.
Even though their contract said the agreement also provides for a potential annual increase in rates of 2.75% per year, why don't they just take that out and say you will be charged 2.75% more?
Yeah, taking the word potential out would be a better thing.
There you go, right?
What, what does that translate to for each individual household? increase?
It will end up, and it'll be on the next agenda item, but it's 34 cents on the 96-gallon cart, and it's 25 cents, I believe, when I grab my sheet of paper, for this little bit smaller cart. And then it's 8 cents more on the recycle, which will go from 307 to 315 per month.
Okay. Anybody on the board have any other questions? Okay. Could we have a motion, please?
I move that the town agree to extend the solid waste collection services agreement with Waste Management of Colorado for one additional year from May 1st, 2017 through April 30th, 2018, and accept the requested rate adjustment of 2.75% in accordance with the agreement.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we accept the contract with Waste Management for the following year. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item is consideration and approval of Resolution 17-04, updating the Town of Milliken fee schedules, trash and recycle fees.
Mayor Pro Tem, members of the board, I am standing in, I didn't say that on the previous agenda item, I'm standing in place of Courtney Diller, who had another engagement to attend to tonight. This resolution updating the Town of Milliken fee schedule for the trash and recycle fees just follows regarding the 2.75%. It increases it on the 34 cents on the 96-gallon container. It's a 30-cent increase on the 64-gallon container and an 8-cent increase on the recycling. And it will just change, this resolution would change, allow us to change the fee schedule as of May 1st. So it won't go into effect with the next bill that's sent out at the end of March, beginning of April, but the following bill it will.
So it'd be on the April bill or the May bill?
The May bill. I forget the actual date that they're sent out. It's right around the first, it's in the first week, that's right, first week of the month, in the first week of the month in May, when the bills are sent.
May 1st. Good.
Questions?
None.
I move to, should we make a motion? I move to adopt resolution number 1704, adopting the fee schedule with changes to the refused collection rates effective May 1st, 2017.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve Resolution 17-4, updating the Town of Milliken fee schedules for trash and recycle fees. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item is consideration and approval of Resolution 17-05, amending the town's fee schedule to add a cleanup day fee.
Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the board, this was discussed at a prior work session regarding our cleanup day. We have 2 cleanup days currently, one in the spring, one in the fall. Drop-off location is at the town's property out at Center Drive and Well County Road 23 3/4 in Frontier Industrial Park, or commercial area. We've never charged residents to participate in these cleanup days. However, the cost for these cleanup days continue to keep rising, and the participation keeps rising. Obviously, as the town grows, there's more people that participate. We had about 415 participants on each of the days in 2016. They dropped off enough stuff we ended up with about $18,000, almost $19,000 worth of costs because of the roll-offs. We get a certain amount of roll-offs with the contract. We get 5 roll-offs, but we end up with significantly more roll-offs involved in the cleanup days. And it includes 4 rear-end packers, so they can just drive into it rather than lifting it over the top. Those cost more. A number of neighboring communities do charge a small amount on their cleanup days. And it is still way more convenient for residents to use the cleanup day to be able to drop off at a common location here than take it to the transfer station or take it to the dump. So, and it's less expensive, far less, even a small fee is far less expensive than going to the transfer station. So what was the recommendation from the board was to have a proposed fee of $10 per load, and that's what's put before you this evening. This would generate about $8,300 if we use the $415 per each time. That'd be $830 for the year, $8,300. That's still not the $18,000, but there was a comment saying we still want people to get rid of their stuff because there are our community service officer, code enforcement officer does encourage people to drop off items at the cleanup day to help clean up their properties. So we still want to encourage that. We want to encourage people to use the cleanup day, but and it's far less just from the waste management fees earlier. To call to get your bulk item picked up, your couch or your lazy boy that you don't want anymore at your house it's almost $30
It is $30.
from waste management. So $10, of course you gotta find a strong young person to help you lift the couch and put it in the back of your truck, but $10 isn't much to have at the cleanup day, so.
So are we going to charge people where we go around and pick up their stuff as well?
That would be recommended. It could be a recommendation from the board that you don't want to do that if it's, you know, you don't want to do that to certain seniors or certain people who are unable to. Can be a directive from the board, but to keep everything straight at the start, it might be better just to say everybody pays the fee to start.
Ken, you've participated in the cleanup days. How many of the people you pick up from are seniors?
Not that many from seniors.
Okay. Because that would concern me. How about people that are physically unable to, they have a physical limitation that would prevent them from bringing down to the,
Very few.
very few? Okay. So most people just don't have a vehicle, and that's why they call you?
Right, and that's why I offer the service, and a lot of people have to work on Saturday. They're not able to do it.
All right, then I'm good with charging the fee across the board.
I thought we talked about it at the last board meeting, that we have several people with cars that are in line with one garbage sack. Then we have the people with the pickup, then we have the people with the truck and the trailer. And so I'm not sure if it's a fair charge for the car and the pickup at $10 per load. I thought we were gonna do increments.
I didn't have that complete direction from the board regarding that. We can certainly do that if you would like.
I think that makes it too complicated.
And we can encourage people, you can have signs out encouraging people. Understand, there is gonna be a fee when you get to the front of the line, because the lines, most of the time is half dozen to a dozen people, isn't it, Ken? Most of the time I was seeing it during the cleanup day. Just let them know ahead of time, hey, if you only have 1 or 2 items, work with your work with your neighbor. We'll try to get that out as far as communication. But also in line, if they just want to hand it off to the next person, hey, I'll give you a couple bucks. You know, handle it that way. But if you would want something where it'd be, you know, if you only have one item, it's $2, $3, $5 or whatever, you know,
I think we ought to just leave that to the discretion of the gatekeeper.
okay? Not be so.
That'll make it complicated.
Not be so rigid regarding what's actually there.
Right.
Well, I don't know. One item, one couch, one chair,
Yeah.
No, I'm
one
talk-
mattress.
No, we've pulled up in line there before and seen Volkswagens with a garbage bag in the trunk and one in the back seat.
$10.
We told them just to throw it off, we'll pick it up on our way through the line, but there's a lot of vehicles that are just cars, people with minimal stuff in there.
I did it last year as a second trip. The first trip had a lot of stuff. The second trip was one or two leftovers. But I wouldn't pay $10 again to drop the extra item.
That's why we need the camera on the dumpster.
Yeah.
I think it's complicated if someone doesn't know who to charge what.
I don't know
Yeah.
what to do
It's
on
like
that.
one flat
I
fee
can
would
see
be fair
Ken's
for
point,
everyone.
but on the other hand, one trash bag can go in your weekly garbage, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and not only that, if you just got one trash bag, get together with your neighbors before you come down. We advertise it in the water bill and everything.
Mhm.
People can get creative about it.
I know we do try it. If it doesn't work, we would change it up
Right.
for the fall cleanup days.
I could,
But every other town's doing it,
Right,
Well, Nick,
and the rates just keep going up from waste management, so
right.
we really don't have a choice.
$18,000 overrun last year is just,
I
that's
think
pretty
we could-
extreme.
Yes, I
I
agree.
think we took garbage from other areas.
They used to include so many roll-offs in their contract. I don't know when they changed that.
Because they make money this way.
Yeah.
Sorry, I shouldn't take a cheap side of waste management for it, but that's,
No,
That's
I,
reality.
I guess let's give it a try.
Yeah.
That's all we can do.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I move to adopt resolution number 1705, adopting the fee schedule with the user fee for cleanup day effective March 8th, 2017.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 17-05, amending the town's fee schedule to add a cleanup day fee for the town of Milliken.
Second.
It's already been seconded.
Well,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
I'm
carried.
not used to you running the meeting.
Oh, I know. I'm not either. Consideration and approval of Resolution 17-06, amending the town's fee schedule on the cash in lieu rate.
Mayor Pro Tem, members of the board, this proposal is to approve an increase in the cash in lieu fees on the town of Milliken's fee schedule. The cash in lieu is an alternative to providing a water certificate for units of Colorado Big Thompson water, or basically raw water, for development. Previously, the board had adopted an ordinance which authorized making changes to the cash in lieu rate through the adoption of a resolution to change the fee schedule, as opposed to the prior method of adopting a new ordinance. And then it's been changed a couple times. It was changed in 2013, also in 2014, and then it was changed last year. It was reduced last year because there was a difference in the calculation. And also to help, we had used Greeley rates exclusively, although Greeley had an additional calculation with it. That their rates were, ended up being significantly lower than our rates, and we had discussions with that. In order to help sell downtown infill lots, we had a recommendation, and the board approved that recommendation to have a lower fee in 2016, and that actually has worked. We had 10 people use the cash in lieu fee last year. The previous 2 years, there were 2. In 17, we already have 2 that have provided the cash in lieu fee. But in January of this year, Greeley has raised their cash in lieu by $1,000 because CBT continues to trade at a higher rate, the raw water. This would increase the fee from $21,432.61 to $22,955.51. It would raise it about $1,523. It is still significantly lower than what it was just a couple of years ago. But this increase, it has worked with some infill lots. Just like was discussed in earlier meetings, when those fees get too much, then it gets real hard to build on the infill lots. But we need to keep pace and not have it keep pace somewhat as far as this cash in lieu rate. So that's why the recommendation to you now is there was a raise with our one largest water provider for their cash in lieu rate. It follows that we should as well, so we don't fall behind too much. We are still less than City of Greeley right now, but that's to encourage the remainder infill lots and also encourage cash. That will help us purchase more water. So.
Ken, is there a reason it's May 1st that is the recommendation date instead of April 1st?
Because of since this is it's adopting the fee schedule 30 days past when it's approved. So we just made it May 1st. It doesn't have to be May 1st. It could be earlier if you wanted it. It's basically what the publication day, 30 days past the publication day.
It's a resolution.
But it's not an ordinance.
Right.
Oh, so it's a resolution, so it could be
Yeah.
early. Could be April 1st if you want it, that would be fine. It's just for us notifying the builders who have current people, we came into that situation with the system development charge last year, having enough communication to let them know ahead of time.
I'd say if Green's already raised theirs, we need to act simultaneously and raise ours. I'd say the April 1st, sufficient time. That's my 2 cents. Motion?
Please.
I move that we adopt resolution 1706, changing the date of effective date is to April 1, 2017, and amending the town's fee schedule on the cash and lieu rate.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve resolution 17-06, changing the effective date to April the 1st and amending the town's fee schedule on the cash and lieu rate. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Consideration and approval of an agreement between the town of Milliken and Short Elliott Henderson Incorporated for engineering services for a sewer main extension.
Mayor Pro Tem, members of the board, this is an agreement that follows up on a decision in 2005 when the town of Milliken entered into a purchase and sale agreement with Gary Frank, Roger Frank, and Ronald Frank to purchase the 5-acre property that the future Dove Valley housing subdivision was built upon. As part of that agreement, it states that the buyer will reserve an easement and mutually agreeable location for a sewer line which, at buyer's expense, may be connected to the sewer line in the property at no expense to the seller. So that's basically a sewer main extension that was promised as part of that purchase agreement for the Dove Valley subdivision. This is for the engineering services to prepare that short extension from a sewer main that's within, sewer manhole that's within the Dove Valley subdivision, a few hundred feet to the east to the property at 1189 South Quinty. And there is a lot more to the story regarding why it's waited until now, but I will leave that for another time.
Questions? Motion?
I move to authorize the town administrator to sign a professional services agreement with Short Elliott Hendrickson to develop plans and specifications for construction of the new sewer main extension to 1189 South Quinty Avenue.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve an agreement between the town of Milliken and Short Elliott Henderson for engineering services for the sewer main extension to the Frank property. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. There's nothing on the discussion agenda, but I believe that we have something on the informational agenda. Chief Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Pro Tem. Mayor Pro Tem, members of the board. These past couple weeks, we've had some complaints regarding actions by the police department. We've had 4 complaints. I just want to, I'll read to you our policy first, and then kind of let you know what we've done so far. The Milliken Police Department takes seriously all complaints regarding the service provided by the department and the conduct of its members. The department will accept and address all complaints of misconduct in accordance with the policy and applicable federal, state, and local laws, and the requirements of, well, that's collective bargaining, sorry about that. It is also the policy of this department to ensure that the community can report misconduct without concern for reprisal and retaliation. With that said, one of the things that I would like to say is that as a leader, and you know, some of us are leaders in our positions, I take these complaints seriously. And we did our due diligence and we followed our policy to make sure that those complaints were looked into. Myself and the command staff did look into those complaints. We did not find any misconduct by the officers. However, I did reach out to a couple of the complainants that came in. I went to visit them, talked about, I went to visit 2. Talk to them about what we as a police department, how can we improve? What are some of the things that, because without us hearing these things, without me as a leader hearing these things, it's better for me to find out or know what our officers are out there doing so that we can improve, if it's tactics, if it's the way we approach vehicles, or if it's how we conduct ourselves, communication. So, so those are some of the things that we did, and I just wanted to assure you that we did follow up with those complaints, and there's one person that I need to follow up with as well, and so I just wanted to assure you that I did follow up with that. And you got to excuse me, my nose is kind of, I think I have a sinus infection, but anyway, just wanted to assure you that.
Well, thank you very much. I think that's what we were looking for, is that you actually contacted some of the citizens and got that communication going.
Thanks.
So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
You know, one thing I do want to point out is that any of the complaints, there is, the best procedure to follow is to notify the police chief of a complaint regarding a particular officer. And if not, the police chief, and if they have a plop-out complaint regarding the police chief, to contact myself as town administrator, and to, or if they feel that they cannot take the complaint to the police department for whatever reason, to let us know. It's awful hard for the board to react initially to an individual complaint rather than a systematic situation. So it does put the board in a difficult spot, no matter what, regarding complaints on an individual case. So that's all.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have anything else?
I move to adjourn.
So moved.
Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.